Okay guys, got a little update on the trailer. A few things have happened. The wire that I bought ended up being I guess cheap. Price wasn't cheap, but you know how things are. Anyway, pulled the trailer twice, maybe 3 times. Never had a real issue, didn't seem like, until I put the cars on there, and all of a sudden I was about 3 miles down the road and hit my brakes, and then all of a sudden I didn't have any trailer brakes. So somewhere between right there, that box, and then the box in the front, the wire inside of that rubber coating, the wires for the brakes broke, burned into something or other. I don't think it burned into, because there's no sign of anything getting hot along there. But it ended up no brakes. Thankfully, I wasn't on a big trip and really needing the brakes. So what started out as a pretty neat wiring job ended up I had to run an extra wire, that black wire there, wrapped around that one. Had to add that one, almost like a jumper wire, to fix my brakes. The grating, I underestimated how close to the ground the cars are, so instead of that first little angle there, it ended up being a little too sharp, so I had to add another one. And naturally, I'd already welded the first one in, so I'm like, well, I'm not going to worry about cutting all that loose to do that. Too much work. Got the fenders on it. Still got to block off these little holes here to keep wasps and hornets from building their little nest in there. I got the jacks on. What I did was I welded the little weld-on bracket to the frame. If I can pull this out with one hand. Probably not. Just a little close here. Pull this out, twist it down, put the little pin back in it. That's just welded to the frame, that little piece of pipe that comes with the jack. Put this back on there, and then where the handle was, I took that off and I welded a nut. Cut this little piece out, it lined up, and I can take a ratchet, impact or whatever, and run that down to put some pressure on the ground to keep the trailer from squatting too much when I load the cars up. It don't squat a whole lot, but it squats enough that I don't really like the way that it does. Get that where I don't have to hold it. Put my pin back in. And if you're worried about these things falling off, just take them off. Take them off, put them in the toolbox. Everything else, I got the ramps made. These little notches in this angle iron, that's where the ramps kind of hook. They're just sitting on the trailer right now. I've got to make a bracket or something to hold them while we're traveling. When I hauled the cars, I pulled, and this little angle here, I had to change this angle too. This little angle right here was too steep. That was the first one I found out when I went to drive Freebird up on the trailer. The exhaust caught. So I had to put in this extra one, and like I say, that one was already welded in. I wasn't going to worry about cutting it all apart for that. So anyway, all that's welded in, everything's good. Fenders. Yeah, it pulls good, handles both cars. My truck's a little on the weak side when it comes to pulling it. Then I was worried about it whenever the brakes didn't work, and I was like, well, I'm having trouble pulling it, and now I'm having trouble stopping it. Now the brakes work. I run a heavier wire than what that actually came out. What it started with. But anyway, it's all good. I think that wire will handle the lights. I haven't had any trouble with the lights, backup lights, turn signals, brake lights. Just that brake wire itself, and I don't know if it was just too much when I hit the brakes, too much voltage going through it, or something else. I don't know. Anyway, that's the update.